Let's see if we can get this thing going. This is Dave. This is my What's Up Dave stream. For this week, the week of September 11th, I will be doing daily streams. As yet, not sure what the actual streaming schedule will be, but you can catch these on archives. This stream is about, well, normally it's about what I'm up to for my friends on the internet. My topics are productivity, figuring out how to do stuff, sharing it with people who are also trying to do stuff. And this week is what I'm calling a reset week. And by that I mean it's a week in which I am closing down all the past habits that I've been using for the past months or weeks or so on, and starting over again. This is a good time to do it. I've come to an end of a chapter, I think, in several areas. There's a few projects I want to close down because they've just been kind of going on for too long. So, I'm just going to try to figure this out during these sessions. So let me see. Let me just double check to make sure that this stream is working. I thought I'd be able to monitor it on this iPad, but the YouTube app is not being very cooperative about telling me if it's even picking up the stream or not. So looks like we are recording though. Anyway, so let's see what to talk about. I think one of the first things to do is to just work out what I am up to. So yesterday it was the 9th. Oh wait, the 9th was Saturday. I had recently written my Groundhog Day Resolutions, which is like it's like having New Year resolutions, except I do them on Groundhog Day, and I review them on every month using the same pattern as Groundhog Day. So Groundhog Day is on February 2nd, 2/2, and so March 3rd is when I do the review. April 4th is when I do the next review, and so forth. So I do this until December 12th, which is the last review of the year, because from that time on I'm just swamped by holiday stuff and end of year stuff to get that done. So this was the most recent one. And one of the main things, what's this going on here? Let me close this this terminal window here. Doesn't seem to do anything. That's weird. I closed the window, but it's still visible. That is super weird. Missing browser source. Anyway, the conclusion of this, you can find this on my website if you go to davidsay.com. It's the most recent article. Was to essentially close things down and have some faith in 3 new directions, or 3 revived directions. One is having confidence in knowing, what I'm doing, that I'm up for it. One is accepting leadership as a condition for me getting certain projects done. I had previously thought that what I really needed was more connection with people with regards to my projects. But when you think about leadership, that is taking charge of one's action. There's a saying for leadership that it's a very lonely place. I mean, like if you're running a company, you can't be everyone's friend. You're kind of there by yourself. This is kind of driven home watching Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan in the movie theater last night. Watching like old executive people getting along. They're friends, but they're in their own stratus of companionship, and there's a kind of loneliness I think that comes with that. But it doesn't need to be a negative kind of loneliness. Accepting the isolation, and maybe some of the issues with having a frisky cat around. But accepting the isolation and not feeling bad about it, I think that really is the key realization that I had. And the last one is just having the conviction to believe that I know what I'm doing. Oh, the confidence thing was something else. And the cat's trying to switch all the scenes now, so you must go away. So confidence, accepting the self-leadership, and having conviction. those are the two things. And the immediate goals are to finish some project work I'm doing right now, because it's just been lingering on too long. It's work that I didn't really want to do. It's also work that that doesn't really use my abilities, my strengths. And then so in addition, just closing this project, and closing projects is maybe one of the main themes. The second one is just getting the website system going. I mean, my current website, which is this, is fine, right? I mean, but it doesn't suit my needs right now. I actually don't like using it, and I haven't liked using it for years. What I really want is something that's more like a public, like a research and development system where I can develop ideas and then also find the threads between them, find the patterns, remix them easily, and share them. And I have an idea how that might work, but I haven't let myself do those. And partly this is because I felt there's so many things that are on my plate that I've put there that are just hanging over my head that I feel kind of paralyzed and not able to do any one of them or enjoy any of the work that I'm doing. Enjoy any of the projects I'm doing because I feel there's all these other things I can't do. So it's a weird kind of paralysis that I didn't realize I was susceptible to, because it's easy for me to identify the feeling, and having identified it, there's a sort of power that comes with that. It's like naming a demon. If you name a demon, you have nominal control over it, but maybe I don't have as much control over that as I thought. So this is a restart week, and for the restart week, I'm not putting any pressure on myself other than to figure out what the rest of the year might look like in terms of goals, scheduling, planning, and finding something that works. So I guess it depends on how long I've been doing this. And so just a sup 1000 cycle. So I just noticed you speaking there. Let's see. I didn't really describe what this stream is about in the chat. But now let me just draw that up. Can you just go here and do that? I wish that window would go away. I don't know what's up with that. It seems as thick it's still open. I don't see it anywhere. If I switch screens, no, it's just stuck. Some sort of bug. So anyway, what we're doing today. Today I'm talking about this week being a reset week. By that I mean that I'm closing chapters on as many projects and initiatives as possible that maybe aren't so important. And I'm figuring out what to prioritize next. So in the meantime, I'm not putting any other things. There's stuff like going to the gym every day or every 3 days a week. I've been doing this now for 5 or 6 weeks. That's pretty good. I've been on this diet for about 4 weeks. This would be the 4th week starting. But I'm not going to drop the diet entirely, because actually it's working pretty well. I actually feel pretty good from that. It's the Atkins induction phase right now, and kind of learning all these skills about like how to cook stuff, which has been nice. So I'll continue doing that. I'm just refining that process, and it's a pleasurable one. But things like the website, the work, what can I do to close more projects and complete them and get them off my plate? Those two I mentioned before, this video server work and the website things. Those are the two biggest bottlenecks right now that I feel. And like if I look at everything that I've done recently on, when I was doing my last month review, it didn't feel like I got anything done because I was focusing on this, the HTML video server rework, which is very slow going and it's mind numbing. And it seems like I didn't get anything done last week, but then I was going through my email and I was going through like my calendar and noting, just reconstructing what did get done. And it's actually quite a lot. This is everything all this stuff are things that happened last week. This was the only billable project. Last week I had very low billable hours. It's like 3 or 4 hours. Normally it's more like 10 or 15. but in the past month, did quite a lot of thinking, which is maybe par for the course. I developed some new crispy chicken skin cooking techniques, or I applied some that I had learned about. Made some reference notebooks for the diet. I made some sort of household improvements. I started this Atkins diet. I got a new primary care physician. I got a physical going. There was a new Chinese restaurant I found out that was great. I test drove a new GTI, got an oil change. I've been like learning how to apply nail polish, which is like in itself like a fascinating world that I'd never seen before. I had a number of experiences, bought some interesting stuff that will help move forward in some of the long-standing projects and so forth. But all these moments are hidden. They're not visible, and this is why I want the research style website to be up, because these things are all part of this grand pattern that I am trying to figure out. Some of these patterns I do know what they're about. There are specific interests that might be of interest to other people. There are refined thoughts and techniques that I've uncovered that I haven't been able to find anywhere else on the internet, or no one else has put together the way those things have fit together. And those are the kind of things that when I share them, I feel motivated, energized, and excited about things. Oh, 1000 Cycle said, watch my Quiver video and purchase it. Markdown for the win, yeah! Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Glad you're liking it. So, where am I talking about now? I got distracted. Right. I did get a lot of stuff done last month. But for the entire month, I was thinking that I wasn't getting stuff done, and I felt kind of bad during the whole thing. So part of this reset is to, I guess, rebalance the mix. And it feels like it's time for a change of things. So I've closed down an old journal that I was keeping, and that journal now has been called Act 1, because it seems like the beginning of something. In Act 1, that's like when the character defines and resolves themselves, and in Act 2, that's when the character goes and does something. If you look up 3-act structure, I'm sure there's probably a better way of describing it. 3-act structure. Let's see what it says. Divides a fictional narrative into 3 parts. Acts called the setup, the confrontation, and the resolution. So the setup is done. Maybe the last 15 years has been the setup. Act 2, the rising action, depicts the protagonist's attempt to resolve the problem initiated by the first turning point, only to find him or herself in ever worsening situations. Oh no, that doesn't sound good. Part of the reason protagonists seem unable to resolve their problems is because they do not yet have the skills to deal with the forces of antagonism that confront them. They must not only learn new skills, but arrive at a higher sense of awareness of who they are and what they are capable of, in order to deal with their predicament, which in turn changes who they are. This is referred to as character development or a character arc. This cannot be achieved alone, and they are usually aided and abetted by mentors and co-protagonists. Maybe I'm in the second act. Or maybe anyway. So the third act is the resolution. The climax is a scene or sequence by which the main tensions of the story are brought to the most intense point. Dramatic question and answers. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the third act, but I don't think I really faced the second act yet. I've just kind of screwed around with trying to get this whatever I'm doing. Find who I am as a designer. Reacquainting myself with programming. Establishing my skill sets in a way that is publicly accessible, because through which that's how one makes money, and then doing that without selling out, doing that without compromising my ideals as I discover them, and also finding some kind of meaning, I suppose, in all of it. This is where I've been flagging in the most past months. It's I guess in story terms, I've kind of hit this low point when it doesn't seem that whatever I do is leading someplace, or is contributing to the rising action, or however you might put it. Generally, I've been positive, but I've been positive because I've set my sights very low. I think I don't think I've dared to set a greater ambition and really try to tackle it. I've been too comfortable maybe. So maybe that's part of what I'm doing to close off this act. So let me go and over here and how come this isn't working? I'm trying to pull up. Nothing's working on this. And that's what I get for. What I'm trying to do is pull down this task manager thing, which seems to have disappeared. Where'd it go? Something has removed it. Nice. It's called Unclutter, I think. Why isn't it running? Now it's running. What the hell? For some reason, this does not start up. It should launch at startup. That's strange. Anyway, what Unclutter does is allow it. You can pull this little drop down. But if I move the mouse to the top of the screen and use the mouse wheel down, I get this note area. So this is handy for like if I am like in a full screen mode, like if I am running Sublime Text. Running Sublime Text in full text mode, and I want to do an edit thing, I can actually do this. You normally do stuff like this. And I can type the notes here. So let me write down here what it is that I'm doing. This is reset week. So one of the themes I'm talking about is closing the chapter. Closing the chapter on many things. The goal, the immediate goal is to close out the video server work. And I just want this done, and I'm willing to make this the priority and then kill everything else to get this done now. Before, I think I was trying to balance too many things and like make progress in too many areas, but it just feels like shit. I don't want to do that anymore. Then the next goal, immediate goal, maybe this is more of a long-term goal, but another immediate goal is to get the new website up in skeleton form. And it can exist as a piece of crap for now. It doesn't need to be this polished thing. It just needs to be up with the minimal things in place. You know, like a truly something. Once it's up and out there, then I will be encouraged to continue to make improvements to it, and that might actually be fun to see. Be able to bootstrap it from nothing. So I'm thinking of starting with just a very plain text interface. Let's see. Thousand Psycho asks, how did I learn Python? I don't know Python. I've been coding in JavaScript recently, and before that I was doing stuff in C#. And before that ActionScript 2.0, and before that regular ActionScript, and before that probably Basic, before that Pascal, before that 652 assembly language. You know, I've been programming for a long time, but not really as a professional. You know, that's something I had to accept like about a year ago. So you know what, I've been doing more coding recently, so I might as well accept that I am in this space again. Before I used to do more what I would describe digital media design. That was like designing presentations, animations, and Flash and things like that. But I have a hybrid background both in computer graphic design and in computer engineering. So like I can kind of do both things. But yeah. Alright, so it is 18 minutes in. I think I've described what my goal is for this. I am going to figure out where I'm going to put these bits of text. Maybe I will put them in the descriptions of the videos themselves. But tomorrow I will think about what I'm going to do to make all this stuff happen. So my reset week is also a rest week. And so some of the things for that will be gym suspended. I'm going to switch to daily cardio. So 30 minutes a day instead of like longer sessions 3 times a week. The daily is supposed to be better for diet and losing weight. Next week. Other projects suspended to focus on Thousand Cycles trying to. Python's supposed to be a great language. Like it's, I hear it's a nice, cleanly designed language. some of the things I've heard people do with it is some people develop games with it. It's good for, I believe some 3D environments use it as their scripting language, like, what is it? I forget. It's been a while since I've done 3D work. System programming. So a lot of people do some system programming in Python. What kind of stuff do you want to do? Other projects suspended to focus on number 1. Let me write number these things. 2. What else am I suspending? No, let's just focus on 1 this week. I also want to do daily streams. Daily streams again. Overall conviction, commitment, confidence, and what was the third one? Self-leadership. And why are we doing all of this? I'll say amplify. Yeah. Why even bother with all this stuff? At the end of this week, I want to have clarity on the next. Oh, that makes sense. Quick scripts, hit some APIs. That sounds like a good thing. Good thing to do. So 1000 cycle, what kind of system are you going to do this on? Mac, PC? Are you doing command line? Just kind of curious. Like if you have some specific environments in mind that use Python as their scripting engine. I really know very little about it, so as far as achieving a new set of goals. What those are, I don't know yet. There is something I was reading about called anti-patterns. Let me see if I can find that. Actually, I saw that in a link dump. So if I go to our chat room, I posted a note in link dump, I believe. Oh wait, no, I posted it in Lyceum. This on anti-goals. How I design my perfect day by fixating on what I hate. So the gist of this article is these people were starting their company and a lot of their friends appeared wealthier and more successful, but they had, quote, objectively shittier lives. Packed calendars, on planes all the time, marriage in shambles, don't see their kids, sleep 4 hours a night. And that's something I want to avoid. And so these guys apparently wanted to avoid those usual trappings of running a large company with meetings, bureaucracy, set work hours, blah. And so they created some of these anti-patterns based on a trick, like that's from Warren Buffett's business partner. And Warren Buffett is one of the most successful investors. And his business partner, Charlie Munger, is like, he always accredits him with, like, I think being the smart one. But the idea of knowing what you want to avoid, it kind of can create stuff. So I found this list interesting. These guys' worst possible day looks like this. Full of long meetings, a packed calendar, dealing with people they don't like or trust, owing people things, not being in control, obligations, having to be at the office, travel, and being tired. So they worked backwards from that, and they came up with this set of anti-goals. So never schedule an in-person meeting that can be otherwise accomplished via email or phone, or not at all. No more than 2 hours of scheduled time a day. That's good. So that's interesting. No 2 hours of scheduled time. You know, not working with people you don't like, not giving a vote of control, don't work in a terrible office place. Ah, damn it, cat. And so forth. So this is something I'm thinking of, and we actually had started a topic in our Lyceum seminar room to discuss it. So I'll be thinking about that a little bit later, probably offline. But I'm gonna call all this to an old. Oh, okay. So 1000 Cycle works in cybersecurity. That's awesome. Hey, You're not Susan, are you? Susan works in cybersecurity. Oops, cat. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to call this to an end. I feel like I'm starting to ramble. Tomorrow, I'm trying to figure out a regular time to do these streams and how to maintain continuity in them. And what kind of value can I deliver to people who are going to watch these every day. I want to keep these under 30 minutes. Shorter if possible. I'm going to be figuring this all out. I'm going to be saying a lot. Maybe I'll play a little bit with format, so that would be kind of a fun thing. Maybe I need to create a list of questions first and answer those. But we'll see. We'll see. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you're having a good week, and I'll see you soon. I don't hear anything.